Come on, sir. How you doing, man? How you doing?
Good, good,
I'm
good.
glad to hear that.
Enjoying this beautiful day, this beautiful Saturday at Elite Cigar in Addison.
Got the opportunity to check out Until Dawn. Just hit theaters this past weekend. Um, First, let me get it. Are you a horror fan, man? Like you do horror like that?
Not really. No, I'm not. I'm not a super horror buff, but I've been watching them lately. Mm.
Did you enjoy the film? Well, obviously you went into this not watching the trailer,
Correct.
right? So, did you enjoy the film even though you went into it not watching the trailer? Like, what was your take?
I enjoyed it. Yeah, yeah. It was a pleasant surprise for me.
What you like about it? Let's talk about your likes first. What you enjoying about it. Was it scary? Did you enjoy it? Was you on the edge of your seats or your seat? What you like?
Yes to all three. Yes, I thought it was scary. Yes, I enjoyed it, and yes, I was on certain parts. I was at the edge of my seat. And what I liked about it was the fact that again, we're not really talking about a boogeyman. We're not talking about a monster in the sense of it's just like a main character that's a monster that who's also the star.
Or you like the fact that it just wasn't a monster.
Don't get me wrong. I like Long Leg. I like the Freddy Kruegers and the Jasons. I like uh what's the guy who sets the traps for the people?
Jigsaw.
Jigsaw. I like those also, but I consider those to be a lot more psychological horror. This one is more gore horror, and it's more, in my opinion, it's more mental horror. So there's psychological horror coming from a monster who's doing something, but the story is psychological. Like Long Legs was psychological, and then there is horror that is mental, but the story is not psychological.
So Until Dawn, you are saying is
She's in her head. She is. It's a game that's being played for her to lose or to get rid of trauma that she has. A lot of times when here goes an example. A lot of times when we go to sleep, we have a dream and we wake up and it's a bad dream. It's a scary dream. It's a lot of times it's not. Some people think that it's the future, that I'm going to get into an accident or I'm going to fall down the stairs or something like that. I'm going to fall out a building. But a lot of times it's really just about a fear that we already have about an issue that we're currently dealing with. In this particular case with her, with the lead character in this, she was dealing with the loss of her sister. So this what she was experiencing was her coming to grasp that she's just gonna have to not just get over it. I don't want to be like that, but to live her life and to accept that her sister is gone.
what you think about horror films. This
Mm.
being the horror films, you know, taking a shot at introducing trauma. Typically, I guess it's just gore and scary and I'm gonna kill you, whatever. But
Right.
this is trauma based horror, I guess you can call it. What you think about that?
Here's a better example of the differences of what I was talking about. So on one hand, there is Seven. Obviously, the bad guy is playing a psychological game with the two detectives.
You're talking about Seven, the movie,
The
the
movie.
film. Yes.
Um, and there's puzzles that they have to find and clues that they have to find. On this one, it doesn't matter if you find a clue. It's not gonna. In this one, how she spoiler. One of the ways that she defeats the bad guy, who's not really the main character bad guy, but he is her the puppet master of her particular situation that she's going through. Uh, is that the water that you drink inside this space that she's in is will cause your body to explode. So what she does was she not accidentally, she purposely puts some water inside of his cup so she could kill him. That was using a piece of the puzzle to help her situation. But it's not like, but it's the same as just finding a knife on the ground. It's not like really masterminding a plan of execution of, if we do this, we're going to win.
It's not like that.
It's not like
It's
that.
not like
It's
that.
more like, here's the monster, and the only way that I can get past the monster is to confront the monster. That's it. I can't keep.
Would you say that's a easier way of getting through the plot of a story? Just confronting the monster, because I guess it's like somebody confronting their fears, or like that girl accepting the fact that her sister is gone.
Mhm.
Is that, would you say that's harder, or just finding the gun and shooting them?
There's levels to it. You could be Indiana Jones, where it's easy for him to shoot somebody. Like if like his trauma with a bad guy is not his biggest fear, but he does have a fear of snakes. So if the bad guy knows that he has a fear of snakes and he puts a pit of snakes in front of him to separate the two, then Indiana Jones has to first deal with the fact, like, I know as soon as I cross this pit of snakes, your ass is mine. But first, I have to cross this pit of snakes, right? So you could do it levels, or you could be like some person where the pit of snakes is not the biggest problem, or it is a problem. So I have to first I have to get my strength together to not run anymore. Now I'm not playing defense anymore. I'm not running. I have to get with my fear that the only way this is gonna happen is I gotta confront. And then there are certain levels. I have to go through a dark hallway. I have to deal with these little zombie type monsters. I gotta deal with an imaginary image of my sister who's pretending that everything is gonna be okay, but really she wants to kill me.
So,
You know,
like, with that understanding, was you um already have an idea what the story was about? Like, obviously you didn't watch the trailer,
right?
but 20, 30 minutes in, did you pretty much already, it sounded like you already knew what was the outcome was landing?
No, I don't
No?
want to get that impression at all. I had no idea how this was going to end. That was one thing that made me stay interested. It didn't have any puzzles. It didn't have any games, but it did have the fact that you don't know if they're going to live or if they're going to die in it. I mean, these days, a horror film, everybody can die, and it'll be the end of the movie. It doesn't have to be you got over it. So I didn't know if she was gonna make it or if they were all gonna make it.
All right, let me get your take on the cast. What you think about the cast? I wasn't a big, I ain't gonna say a big fan, but I don't know. I didn't know any of the actors until Dawn. You know, they probably all up and coming. But what you think about the cast that was in it?
It's your typical horror teen Scooby Doo type of cast. You know, you know, attractive females, very attractive. They started the film with her sister digging out of this dirt, and even though she's covered in mud, they knew how to make it just look good, to make her look incredibly good. So they get that a true classic teenage horror film. The girls gotta look great, and they did that. The guys gotta be cute, and it has to be kind of a nerdy type of guy, but who's still cute, you know. So they had all the parts. But again, like you, I didn't know any of them.
All right, cool. Yeah, I didn't know any of them, but I think they did a good job. Um, I was I believed them to an extent. I don't think one stood out more than the other for me, but overall, the five of them, I think they did a good job. I think they straight. Um,
Yeah.
what is one or two things that you didn't like about it? One or two things that you just say, okay, same old, not surprised, or something about the story in general.
That's a good question. I mean, I had an in the beginning they showed a little glimpse of the monster. I have this thing where I don't actually like seeing the monster, um, but and the reason that I don't like seeing the monsters a, a lot of the times is because of the makeup and the prosthetics and everything. Uh, you really have to do that right to impress me, and so that's something that I was probably the most disappointed about. There were some, like there's a witch in it. I thought the makeup on her was great, uh, but there were some others where it was just like Halloween mask, you know.
Well, what's your take on like Mask? A lot of killers and horror movies,
Oh,
the kill
right.
they have masks on. You really can't see their actual face
Yeah.
because some of them, or they may dress up the mask. The mask may look
Mm-hmm.
scary or funny looking, just intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
But what you think about masked horror killers? Because in this one, that guy he had on a mask,
Oh, you mean the big guy?
the big guy.
Yeah. And then the witch, it looked like she was making them, or because she had them all around her house. Uh, Something similar to the mask that he had on. And another interesting part is that when she walked out of the house possessed and she put on a mask herself, he still killed her. I thought that they were gonna be like partners,
Or
like
connected or something.
yeah, some kind of connection, but he still smashes her head in even though she has a mask on also. But that's an interesting point. I'd like to think about it a little bit more. Off the top of my head, I couldn't really. I mean, we've often talked about it, you and I, about this idea of the mask that we have just as regular people
Yeah.
when we're meeting new people for the first time, or whatever, just hiding or concealing the truth. But if it's obvious that whether I have this mask on or take it off, I'm a bad fucked up person,
Right.
then I don't see the point of the mask. I don't know why Jason unless the monster still has some kind of insecurity, it has some kind of uh facade that he wants to portray. um the demon went inside of Chucky. uh so, and it was, he had to do it to escape or something like that.
Right, Charles Lee Ray.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, that was still a choice. So,
But you
it's
think,
interesting.
um, let's talk on the production side, like of film, making the film. Would you say they are likely to use a mask because it's less work on the actor? Like if I just make a scary mask, I don't have to worry about an actor showing scary on his face if I just make a scary mask. Unlike if I just bring the person out there, that person has to sell me fear.
To answer that question honestly, I couldn't answer that question honestly in today's time, because I think everything that's done today is pretty much just a copy of what's already done. To answer that question, I would have to answer that question with, I believe the most popular mask was Jason's mask, the hockey mask.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, so I would have to answer that question by thinking about the production for Jason. I don't remember the story behind that. Um, but they did bring it up as why Jason, when he oh, it's Halloween. That for no, that's another mask. Halloween is a different mask.
That's Michael Myers.
Yeah, that's Michael Myers. Jason, yeah, when he was a kid, or when before he did it, they show. I remember the scene where he grabbed the mask and the mask was fresh at first. Uh, so for production, did they do that to say, hey, we don't have to show this guy, the actor, we can just put a mask on him? Did they do some psychological research to show? Well, before that, what did the bad guys wear, in the movies, or the bank robbers? They would grab a mask. What does the Ku Klux Klan wear? They put on a hooded mask. So it sounds like maybe there's just a history of bad guys and bad people wearing masks. And then,
And so it's like are you saying if it comes down to horror, crime, bad behavior,
mm,
you're likely to wear a mask?
whether physical or not, that the mask we wear, even if it's not a physical mask, is not our real selves, is ultimately the lie. And then if you expand it, it goes to, I'm hiding myself because I don't want the police to see me in the cameras. I don't want the witnesses to see me. And then, and why would a horror monster type do it? Um, because I don't want you to see. I'm no longer Michael Myers anymore. Now I'm this other character.
What's your take on the setup regarding Until Dawn, like the house? Obviously, they go, I think, in the basement,
It's
and
actually the first floor.
yeah, and that's actually the first floor
Mm-hmm.
because what happened in that city. Obviously, they had to build, I guess, a house on top of a house.
Well, it was, most of those houses were two-story homes. So when the earth collapsed, you know, before, like you said, what happened in the history, they dug all those tunnels, and miners made all those tunnels underneath it, but it was so hollow that the town just concaved. It just sunk underneath the ground. So they were two-story homes. So the top that you see at the 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 top is the well, no, I think you're right, because it still had like a front door.
Yeah. It looked like a
Right.
regular structured built own
House.
house. Yeah.
Yeah. That particular, like the hotel or whatever that was built on top of the house that was underneath. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. Because I'm assuming
Hmm.
how it talks about it in the story, maybe you take off the roof,
Mm.
knock that down,
Right.
then just build a new home on top of the
On top
home.
of it. Right.
That
But
that
not all of them, because as they were running through the forest, some of those houses were just buried. They didn't have anything built on top of it. That's
right.
why they had those glass ceilings and would fall through the ceiling, you know, which is a lot. You know, some houses in some of those rural areas, they would build them with like this sunroof, you know. So
Did the beginning of the film seem kind of generic? I heard some people, and I kind of think about it when a group of people, like some people may look at Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's a good film. I like that. Where it's a group of friends, they on their way somewhere. They got to stop by the random gas station. They got the creepy guy in there. You know, we're looking for our friend, and we stumble upon this house that we just got to,
right,
go.
right.
Same old to you, kind of. Some people may say it's weak storytelling because we've seen that.
Hmm.
You know, what's your take on that?
Some of the things that I consider same old, same old. Obviously, like I said, the kids, same old type of cast. Did Texas Chainsaw Massacre? He had a mask too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about the beginning, like the setup of the film? A lot of people say, or I know I did, it's the same old tropes. You know, kids maybe taking a trip, or in this case, going to find a sister, a family member. But they got to stop by the generic gas station that got the creepy cashier,
Mm.
and then they continue and they run across that creepy house that they got to go in. Same old, same old. Would you say that's just the blueprint of how it goes? Because some people say that's kind of weak storytelling. We've seen that story a zillion times. What do you think about that?
I mean, you pretty much answered it. Yeah. I don't understand like why they still do it though. You know, I don't know why they still make a hallway and it's a dark hallway, and hey, let's go down it. You know what I'm saying? Like I would, you know what I'm saying? Uh, but you know, you have to make the story. So, but you would think by now that everyone in there would go like it would have to be made a reason, you know, to go down the hallway.
And her reason, she looking for her sister.
Well, the first time they did it, they were looking for a telephone, and that's just not a good enough reason to me, you know. But but you're right. The ultimate motivation was, let's just go ahead and get this telephone, and then you know, find this telephone, and then again, it's like a dream. This was really, even though they made it seem, they didn't say it was a dream. It was really like a nightmare. You know, it was like she was just having a very very bad dream, and she had to play the game in the dream.
Yeah, some people reference that Groundhog's Day, throwing that in there. They just repeating the cycle.
Hmm.
Um, and they did it in Happy Death Day.
Hmm.
You get killed, then you wake back up and start it over again.
Oh,
But in
really?
this case,
Okay.
it was just with five of them.
Right.
You know, 5 had to get killed for it to restart.
For it to restart.
Obviously, they were all gonna get killed by the time that clock ran out. You know, they were using the sand clock.
Right.
Obviously, they all gonna get knocked off by the time that is out. So
right.
Instead of doing it with one person like they did in other films, they used 5.
Because they were together, they had to use 5. Yeah. And so in the beginning, when the sister got killed, she made a comment, and that's what gave me the clue that was going to be the issue. She said, before he chopped her head off, I can't do this again, you know. She's like, you know, or something of the lines of, I can't do this again. So why would you say that before you get your head chopped off, unless you're gonna repeat time? So that was that. You know, I kind of figured that was gonna be. And then when I saw the hourglass on the wall when the group went to the house, I was like, yeah. And then when she goes, that wasn't like that before. Did you guys notice the hourglass, you know, changed? And then she signed her name in the, and then that was another clue that Melanie, that's the sister's name, her name was in the book like several times, like maybe 13, 14 times. And then as it starts getting
the signatures start getting a little worse.
Gets like so that let me know that she was fading out. You know, she was probably getting really grotesque. And
yeah, because after each one of their deaths, they start looking a little worse. Like slowly after each death,
hair starts falling out.
Yeah, and
spine,
and they just obviously she just after the 13th or 14th signature, she was just
now she's what they would say in the film, consumed by the night. Yeah. So no coming back from that.
Okay, so Until Dawn 2, I don't think it's a second one coming, but if there was, let me ask this: do you think there should be another one?
At the end, so they show the houses. I mean, they show the monitors that I just call him a puppet master for all sakes and purposes. He has monitors of him watching everything around in the neighborhood that's going on, right? He's dead, obviously, but at the end, they show those monitors, and then they show another SUV pulling up to the houses again. Then they fade to black. So it does happen again.
You got to keep that window open.
I keep it open. Yep. And what I thought was super interesting also was that smile that she had. She goes to the witches. The witch sucks her inside her house, and then her ex-boyfriend looks over and like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And she pops that smile just like in Smile and Smile 2. And I thought that was kind of like, is there a link between the two? You know, but that was interesting.